Well, we did not get Ed Sheeran today. Bummer, but we did get something else really cool. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet continue to look like groundbreaking, earth-shaking, vehicular monstrosities that are going to forever shape the Pokemon world. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Joseph, the Pokemon Masters here. Joseph, my friend, you were trying to terastilize yourself into some other form. I don't know. You've been sick lately.
Yeah, didn't quite work out. So let that be a lesson for anybody who's trying to terastilize. Keep it to the Pokemon. Otherwise, you have a really bad ear infection for a week and a half.
Leave it to the Pokemon. And they brought a competitive trailer to the World Championships here, which I guess makes sense, but it's not really what we predicted. On the other hand, man, oh man, they have brought in some new moves, some new items that I think continue to show this game just creeping closer and closer to being the best Pokemon. They're making the right moves, they're making smart decisions, and I feel like they're expanding the strategy in unique ways. Let's start though with Cyclazar, who is already one of my favorites from Gen 9.
Yeah, that design is definitely goated. The moment I saw him, I was like, this has to be either a pre-evo or something to the bots legendaries, and I'm glad that was kind of correct in a way, I guess.
Yeah, the leaks have shown that this guy has a definite relationship with the box legendaries. Apparently, he is the popular form of transportation in Paldea and has been since ancient times. The dude can go 70 miles per hour, which is never I mean, either Koraidon and Miraidon got like a much slower gear system in their bodies, or we just haven't seen the true speed, because they're not going 70 miles an hour in those trailers.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But yeah, I honestly think it's really cool. The dragon normal typing is also really fun. I do think it's a little goofy that everyone just has one. Like this is just like the norm. You're just, I don't know, going to work and you're in traffic on a bunch of
Cyclazars.
Yeah, I love the handles too. We joked about that, having handles in ancient times. So like, does this predate the bike, or like what's up with that? Did we base bicycles off of this Pokemon?
How do you think humans invented bicycles? Cyclazar. Now history has corrected itself. We understand what's going on. He is pretty nifty. I'm interested to see everybody rolling around on him, and then we pop out on Koraidon and Miraidon. I'm also interested to see how they tie it in. We've heard different things about the box legendaries, and obviously they have their different forms. Can Cyclazar fly? Do you think this guy takes off, or you think he's just strictly ground mode only?
I honestly, I would, for the fun of it, I would love to see him take off, but he looks like he's a little grounded at the moment.
Lockdown.
But,
all right.
Not everybody could be winners, I guess.
He has this new move called Shed Tail, where he creates a substitute and then swap places with a party Pokemon in waiting. I found this to be pretty dynamic. I think a lot of the moves shown off in the trailers are pretty dynamic, but this one in particular it's just got a cool sequence of events. What do you think about how this impacts, the battle system going forward?
I mean, it's honestly, it's such a game changer for so many reasons. I mean, even someone who like isn't super into, like the VGC stuff or really, anything like that. It's going to be cool to see, because now you could do setups like, I don't know, do the Shed Tail, get out to a Pokemon that's able to sweep. And now you have them with the substitute already. You can go straight into like a Swords Dance, get buff, do what you got to do. It basically takes out having your Pokemon, in the battle for an extra turn, setting up the substitute. So in that regard, it's like, it does make substitute a little bit less useful. I mean, people are obviously still going to have it because not every Pokemon's going to be able to use this move, but it's really cool to see that you can now basically alley-oop to a Pokemon that's way stronger, and now they have a substitute automatically set for them, especially for Pokemon who can't set it themselves. So I think that, along with like everything else we've said, like you just mentioned, seriously, it looks like it's deepening the game to such an extent that I think even for the people who only love the competitive play, this trailer probably offered so much in the little bit that it showed. Even seeing like We have that. Was it an item? I believe it was an item, right? That makes you. What was the second item that they showed?
Yeah, so there's loaded dice, which allows multi-strike moves to be more likely to hit more times. So they show Breloom using Bullet Seed, and it's just, pounding and pounding and pounding. And then they also have the Mirror Herb, which copies an opponent's stat increase when consumed, which again just feels like a really interesting item that's going to have a lot of cool uses. And I love your alley-oop analogy. Maybe the best analogy. Cyclazar alley-oops to Miraidon is now my go-to for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. But these
it's such a funny thing to think about. Just having this Pokemon really come in and do one thing, and that's just set up the substitute for a stronger Mon in the back.
Yeah, very cool. And these items, I think, alley-oop the battle system in a really nice way, providing more interesting strategy and tactical options for you. And I want to go out and say that I think after this trailer, we need to stop the Terastilization, poo-pooing. We need to stop the meh response, the mediocrity, the shaming of this system. I think Terastilizing is, in hindsight, going to be one of the cooler gimmicks that we've had in a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. I think in my book, it's going to go, Mega Evolution at number 1 and probably Terastilization. Because to me, it's not just an aesthetic thing. It is a game altering gimmick. And I feel like people don't understand how fun it's going to be when using it. I guess maybe some people aren't thinking the uses of it, and they're just looking at the silly little hats and they're like, maybe I don't want my, Tyranitar to have a gigantic ghost floating over it. But at the end of the day, what it does for your Tyranitar is it lets you be able to use it. It lets you turn Pokemon who don't, usually get a lot of play into something that's maybe a little bit more competitive, a little bit more fun. And really, with that new Terra Blast move, having the ability to have a third stab move is honestly incredible. It's such a cool thing. And the cooler part about it is people aren't going to know what your Terra type is. So you can have, I may throw out a Tyranitar and it could be a water Terra type. And this is something that me and my friend, Zach, maybe me and you found a raid for it, and we have this now. And, that's going to separate us from people who have just regular Tyranitar whose Terra type is, I don't know, rock or something. So I think it gives Pokemon who don't often get a lot of love a little bit more reason to use them. And they've implemented it in a way that every Pokemon is useful. Every Pokemon has the ability to do this. That was the problem with Megas is as much as people love Megas, it's cool designs. It's basically a 4th evolution. It was such a limited choice,
Yeah, and I think that wildcard nature of we went and found like you said, a ghost-based Tyranitar versus an ice-based Tyranitar. The different elements there allow for just this surprise in battle. And I'm sure some people will say that's what makes it bad is because it's a dice roll effectively for the attacker. But I really like the fact that you can kind of plan this out and wait for your move. And they said it best. They said, in the trailer, it says change types and turn the tables. And I really think there will be a lot more back and forth, which to me is more fun. I mean, I don't know about you as someone who's been more involved with for so long in depth, but I think that makes the battles much more exciting, even on the single player front, right? Even if I'm just playing the game by myself, I think that provides a lot more diversity in the battles as opposed to okay, well, he's water and I'm fire, so let's pack it in.
Yeah, I mean, even compared to something like Dynamax and Gigantamax, is you couldn't even do that really much in the single player because you could only Dynamax during boss battles. So, if you're fighting a gym leader, it was really cool. But if you're out in the wild, really, there was no need to. So having a Gigantamax Pokemon on your team was only relevant if you're playing multiplayer or if you're, playing against a gym leader. And the thing with the multiplayer is if you wanted to get into competitive play, you couldn't even use Gigantamax because for so long they weren't even allowed. So to me, it's just this is something that works within the realm of competitive, within the realm of the single player. It is just it's the first time I think since Z Crystals really that we have a gimmick that is all access and you could use it whenever you want to turn the tables, like they said. But the difference between a Z Crystal and this is it alters your Pokemon in a way that makes the game, in my opinion, more fun, because it's a wild card, but everyone's going to have their own wild card. And the cool part about it is like your wild card may be, again, that Ghost Tyranitar. My wild card might just be a Wooper who has a fire Terra type, and I could play with that. I could make it funny. I could have gimmicks on my team that like maybe, somebody in competitive play wouldn't even think to do just because it's risky, it gives, and that's what I love about everything we saw in this trailer was that's the kind of vibe it gave me. It gave me like the vibe of, if you really want to, you can make a formidable team out of the Pokemon that you just love. Like, they don't have to be these super competitive heavy Pokemon. You can have a Pokemon, because now, like, again, I can have the setup with the substitute switch in, and then if I have like the mirror item on, even if my opponent goes for a Swords Dance or a Dragon Dance or something that buffs them, I get the buff with them. And then if that turn I used my Terra move, now I get a buff stab substitute, and I'm doing an attack that you didn't even think I could do. So it's like, that's so cool. Like, that's like crazy to even think about that could be a turn, and that's one turn,
Yeah, I mean, I love also that we start off with the most precious, enjoyable Pokemon ever, but hey, look, they're still showing a commitment to expanding, deepening, and catering to that fan base as well. Now all we need is Cyclazar to evolve into Cyclazarzard, the Charizard wheel equivalent. That's supposedly this guy isn't going to evolve, which is a huge bummer to me. I guess he's related to Koraidon and Miraidon, so maybe there's some connection there. But I'm loving the designs of Gen 9. Whoever they have at the helm there is just picking winners.
Seriously, I think everything so far, every design has been fantastic, just from like a concept point of view. Like, even the legendaries, I know a lot of people are still making fun of Koraidon running with those wheels on it, but it's like, from a design point of view, you can't say that these are not some of the coolest looking Pokemon we've had in such a long time. And there's like, I don't know, design wise, they're not going for these super gimmicky, crazy looking Pokemon. They're just cool.
Yeah.
Like, they're just fun, and they look like they're living in this world. And I mean, I'm so excited. Also, quick shout out to the way the battle UI looks when the fight starts. I think it looks really cool, honestly. Like, it's very like basic looking, but it looked awesome to see like two trainers battling in the middle of a town and having like their player ID card pop up real fast. It looks,
it's very
fun.
Digimon-esque.
Yeah, right. Having all these Pokemon with tires in them. But
before we get out of here, I actually found there's one more item that is shown on the website, not shown in the trailer. It's called Covert Cloak, and it says this hooded cloak conceals the holder, protecting it from the additional effects of moves, and it protects against fake out and other moves. So it sounds like this will be another important meta altering item. So they're really just throwing it at us.
Wow, yeah, and I mean, I think it says a lot that they made this trailer and they led with this information right at this event. No less, at the championship.
Yeah.
To me, it's saying, it's almost a promise, right? It's almost like we're listening. We know that this is bigger than maybe we ever gave it credit for. We're gonna make sure that we don't keep you guys hanging. I think this may be the first time we got a trailer dedicated to the competitive play. I could be wrong there. I know Sword and Shield did do a lot to make competitive play more accessible to everybody, but I think this is the first time like this trailer was definitely made for everybody who's currently watching this championship go down, and I think that's just really awesome. It shows that Game Freak knows that the audience is bigger than just the kids they're trying to get their parents to buy them the game for Christmas. Like, they are genuinely listening. They really do want to make the game the best they can, and items like that to me just say, we're deepening the mechanics, even besides the gimmick, even besides Terastilization. We're going to make sure that we're like holding ourselves to this competitive play, and like that's awesome, because something like fake out is such a easy way to feel like you've lost the match. Like if I'm switching in and it's my last Pokemon and I know that this Pokemon against me has fake out and it's super effective, I have nothing. There's nothing I can do. But now if I have that cloak on, I get another turn and they won't know what hit them. It really does feel like they're really trying to make every player be able to turn the tables, like they said. I genuinely think that's probably how they went about making these items, are like moments that could really turn the tides, and that's awesome to see. I couldn't be happier, unless Ed Sheeran came out singing. That would have
yeah, that'll be next. It seems like the marketing is in full swing now. I'm excited for more. A couple months to launch, and this is really, it's alley-ooping its way to the best Pokemon ever. So let us know what you think about these competitive confirmations and the new items in the comments down below. We'll be back with more soon. In the meantime, Joseph and I are going to go on a romantic ride with our Cyclazars, and we'll talk to you soon. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. Until next time, SwitchForce out.